All right, let's bring in Republican Texas Congressman and ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Michael McCaul. Thanks so much for joining us, sir. We are about to hear from the president. What does he need to say in this moment to show strength, knowing there was a reluctancy to call this what it was, an invasion at first by this administration, but now they are?
Well, this president has shown weakness for the last year, and that's why we're in the mess we're in right now, I think. And deterrence is always the key. But I think what the president needs to say now is he wanted to wait after an invasion to do these sanctions. He said they're going to be swift and severe. That's what I want to hear. And he has to sanction the oligarchs, the banks, and export control in terms of technology and like semiconductor chips. If he does this, he provides some deterrence. But you know, Sandra, I'm afraid the damage has already been done. You know, I've been calling for these sanctions, particularly Nord Stream 2, that we congressionally mandated sanctions on, and then the president waived it. I had a bill that passed the House that would take that waiver away from the president, and they killed it in the Senate. For God's sakes, it's time now. This is an invasion. The executive order that Putin sent out that was approved by the Duma, his parliament, calls for the deployment of troops in the Donbass region and to set up military bases. So, I mean, now's the time.
I want to play this out. This is Senator Marco Rubio, sits on foreign relations. He is suggesting that Putin will not stop at these border territories. He will have his troops move further inland. Listen.
He's not going to stop with these two little small areas near his border. And you don't need 200,000 troops with all that armor and air power and sea power to simply occupy two areas where you've already had a strong separatist presence for a long time.
Do you believe his intentions is to take over much more than just those two border territories?
Well, you don't put 200,000 troops around a country and just take a little section. I hope the president doesn't call this a minor incursion, because it's not. And Donbass includes the Mariupol port, which is the breadbasket of Ukraine. This is all about energy as well. I agree with Senator Rubio that I think his intentions are to go maybe as far as the Dnieper River and also have the land bridge with Crimea so he can control the Black Sea. And that's precisely what he's doing here. And he sees weakness. I would go back again to this executive order that Putin signed is really a declaration of war. And I think the United States and our NATO allies need to see it that way and do everything we can to stop him. But, you know, I'm afraid the damage is done because this president's been so weak.
You just heard our own Steve Harrigan reporting from Kiev, making the point that we're suddenly seeing and hearing a lot from Vladimir Putin. He is popping up in front of reporters, obviously speaking to the camera after being pretty much silent for the weeks leading up to this. Why do you believe that is?
I didn't. I'm in Jerusalem. I'm not sure I heard the question completely.
Why do you believe suddenly we're hearing and seeing more of Vladimir Putin?
I think we're seeing a very aggressive Putin who smells weakness again. When they called these two republics independent states in the Donbass region, then justifying this false flag operation that they're doing right now. You know, what's going to happen tomorrow is it's the basically Liberation Day, Protection of Fatherland Day, right? So I predict tomorrow you're going to see the tanks rolling through these two republics in a victory military celebration as liberators of the Donbass region, not as conquerors and tyranny. And this is a very deceptive message coming from Putin. I really hope this president could, for once, be strong.
All right, so Ted Cruz tweeted this, a move in the right direction, he says, but Putin won't take it seriously because he believes these are temporary pauses, referencing, obviously, the key natural gas pipeline from Russia. To have any effect on Putin's calculus, Cruz says, this needs to be locked in with U.S. sanctions on Nord Stream 2 companies. That is an interesting point because some, like General Keane, have suggested Nord Stream 2 doesn't offer as much leverage as one might think, considering that is not a current revenue source for Vladimir Putin. The gas is not currently flowing to Germany. Germany certainly wants that gas, and it puts them in a much better economic situation. But to be more forceful, do you agree with that point, that they've got to go after the Nord Stream 2 companies involved?
Of course. I think that's called secondary sanctions. I wish the president hadn't waived the sanctions in the national security interest of the United States. I didn't understand that. And quite frankly, this is kind of Putin's play here, is the pipeline's already been completed, by the way.
Right.
It's about certification of the pipeline. Now, the German chancellor said, well, under the present circumstances, I am delaying this. So I'm not quite sanguine that they're not going to go forward with that. Now, I do know President Biden said that he was going to put an end to Nord Stream 2 if there was an invasion.
Right.
So I want to hear him say this is an invasion, and I am going to put an end to Nord Stream 2. That would have a major deterrent effect on Putin to expand, to stop him from taking over this entire country.
Okay, we appreciate you joining us. We are about to see and hear from the President of the United States, Joe Biden. We will hear from him and see from him for the first time since last Friday evening. So as we await that, thank you for joining us.